Hello, everyone. Welcome to our local COVID update with our team from Piedmont Newton here locally. I want to thank you guys for doing these here the past every other week so we can keep our community updated with what's going on locally. I think I'm correct in saying we're still on a downward trend, and we're going to hear a little bit about that today and some vaccine information. So we'll probably move to an as-needed basis on these videos, which is good news. So with that, I want to turn it over to you, David, and you kind of give us an update of where we are with some COVID numbers here locally.
Thanks, Debbie. Good to be with you as always. And, really great news coming from our end this week. And, we've continued to see pretty steady decline in the number of hospitalizations and the community spread with COVID. Our patients in the hospital, obviously everyone's important. Every individual is important. But if you look at this from more of a macro level, our numbers just continue to kind of tick down here. And so really for us, COVID is, we don't think it'll go away completely. I think it'll always be circulating in some parts of our population, but really from an operational standpoint here at the hospital, we're treating this like we would treat any other communicable illness like the flu. And we have good protocols and processes in place. We have the appropriate amount of personal protective equipment. We have good processes around that. And really, it kind of feels like business is normal back here. I would say that we are recruiting new doctors into the area, so we're going to be adding services, and I want to talk about that at some point in the future. But on the COVID front, the good news is the vaccines have worked. I think that's pretty clear at this point, right, in terms of community spread. As I spend time in the community, especially with the CDC lifting the mask mandates, it feels a lot more like business as usual than any time in the past year. And yet we're not seeing COVID cases rise. In fact, we're seeing them drop. So I guess my last commercial is the vaccines work, and we're seeing, evidence of that. And I'll let Dr. Little talk more about it. But before I pass it to him, just want to say thanks again for the opportunity to engage our members, talk directly to our community. I'm available. Dr. Little is available. We are your community resource when it comes to healthcare, and so we want people to be able to access us. So please don't feel like you're bothering us if you have questions or concerns moving forward. That's what we're here for. So
we'll take you up on that, definitely.
Great.
Definitely. So thank you. Dr. Little?
Yes. Thank you again for giving us this opportunity. As David said, we're seeing numbers decline both locally and across the entire system, which is great news. Very exciting. I think, and with that, we have made, we still have some restrictions with visitation in the hospital and still doing some screening, but we've tried to broaden that where we can, which I think is helpful to family members and so forth, and just in terms of a change in our operation from from 2 or 3 months ago. So. Moms that are having babies, we're trying to make it possible to have 2 people to come in, because I know those grandparents want to, see that as well. So that's been good to be able to be more liberal with visitation, although we can't just make it wide open. And as far as the vaccinations go, we're still very encouraged by the results of vaccination. The data that keeps coming out with Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, these are the new messenger RNA vaccines, is very, very encouraging. Still excellent protection against severe COVID, which is really what we're looking for. Even if a person has been vaccinated and maybe they're exposed to one of the new variants, they could potentially get COVID, but it's very, very unlikely that that illness would make them sick enough to require hospitalization. And I think that has a lot to do with why the CDC has removed, a lot of the mask mandates for vaccinated individuals, because they really are safe. There are very few people that have some specific underlying conditions where their immune system is compromised that continue to need to be cautious, even if they're vaccinated. But that's really the exception. So I think that, and the other new news is that Pfizer was approved for authorization to give to children down to the age of 12. So I think that's a change since we spoke last. So I do know that some, young adults or teenagers or middle age and high school age, young people can get vaccinated. And I will tell you this: my own son has, twins that are 12 and asked me what they should do. And my response to that is that with Pfizer and Moderna, for sure, I haven't seen any significant side effects whatsoever. And I still know that with COVID, even in children, sometimes there are, it's rare, but sometimes it can cause some severe illness with them and severe side effects with them. So to me, the answer is pretty clear that it's a good option, even in young people. And that was my recommendation to him. So I think that's good. We're continuing to work on vaccinating our staff. We're also have had some vaccine clinics out in the community with some of the industries, and those have gone very well. And we always want to be available to answer questions around vaccines. If you would, want some information, or people have questions around whether or not they should be vaccinated, we certainly want to be available as a resource to help drive that forward, because I do think it's made a huge difference in seeing the decline in COVID in our communities. And happy to answer you.
Go ahead. Yeah, I agree with that most definitely. Since we've opened the clinic at Georgia Piedmont Technical College, and then you guys doing the mobile clinics with the industries, I know that has helped a lot in getting our community vaccinated. So I think even now at Georgia Piedmont Technical College, you don't even have to have an appointment. You can just walk up. So I do want to put out, though, the information that if anyone watching is interested in partnering with you guys on that mobile clinic, to reach out to the chamber at info@newtonchamber.com, and we'll get you guys connected. But again, I just want to thank you both for your time and commitment to the community, and helping us get our community educated and keeping us up to date with everything going on. And we'll continue these videos on an as-needed basis, or as David, you mentioned, some of the additions you'll be bringing to the community and services. So we're excited to hear about that as well. So with that, I think that will conclude this time together, and then we will see everyone back as needed, or as we make announcements on new services to our community. So,
awesome. Thank you, Debbie.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.